Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Autonomy Pods. Today it's a solo episode from me, and I'm going to talk about what is the Autonomy MVP mission and drive. So autonomy is separated into two parts. The primary goal of like autonomy in general is to help as many people as possible achieve outstanding results with like that long-term sustainability and be able to do it by themselves in the future. Now we're lucky enough as a team to be very, very experienced. Most probably 3 people with 30 years experience combined is quite an uncommon thing to see as a team. A lot of people in the PT industry or online industry are a lot more of they're solo players, whereas having a team of people that are super highly experienced is always going to aid and give people the best opportunities to get the goals that they want. So we're lucky enough and privileged enough to have two separate parts of the business. And being quite young as well, this is really nice to see, is that we focus on half the business on getting general population, anybody that wants has a normal job, that isn't a fitness enthusiast, isn't a fitness professional, get them in amazing shape using our 6-phase methodology to get them self-sufficient in the long term, giving them quote unquote autonomy. And then there's another part of the business which is about coaching coaches to deliver this autonomy to their clients through knowledge, education, going through the coaching process themselves, and really understanding what it is to deliver an amazing service and amazing results with their clients. So we named this Autonomy MVP simply because I watch a lot of American sports, and in America, MVP stands for most valuable player. And for most people's coaching businesses, the most valuable player is going to be the coach, is going to be the person that runs the business, is the person that's going to be driving their client's success forwards. I'm a big believer in that the person that has the most effect is the coach within the coaching relationship or the therapeutic relationship. As much as the client will have a large impending factor in their level of results, as a coach, there are so many things that we can do to get results with clients, set their expectations, put them in the best possible position for short-term and long-term gain. So that's why it was called MVP, because we believe that focusing on the most valuable player, which is the coach, you're going to see a large return in results and overall delivery that the industry really needs. The industry needs, in my opinion, people like me, Declan, and him to upskill coaches to give them the best desired results with their clients, so that the clients then get the best results. We want to move, autonomy is wanting to move away from the yo-yo diets, the quick fixes, the small challenges, the 12-week challenges that really don't lead people into that long-term quote unquote autonomy or self-sufficiency. It's a short-term measure with sacrificing the long-term game. Whereas we're not about that. We truly believe that you can do both, and you can find the best of both worlds when you understand both worlds and you combine them together to create this equilibrium. So the MVP model is designed for those coaches that want to give that to their clients and upskill dramatically by going through the process. When I was growing up in this fitness industry, pretty naive and really fresh out the boat when it comes to training people, understanding people, behaviors, actions, habits, thought processes, training, nutrition strategies for, getting people to do what they need to do. I just believed I wanted to help people, and I wanted to deliver as best as I could to the people that I was around. Now, what I didn't realize now, 10 years in reflection, is that often a reciprocation of a client's journey is the coach's journey. If you look closely at enough coaches, you'll see those people going through their own journey. And when those coaches have gone through their own journey and on the road to progress, you'll see that most of their clients are also going towards their goals and heading towards more progress. And I think there is a bottleneck. I don't rarely see amazing coaches that haven't got a high degree of empathy, understanding, or been through the processes that they're also taking their clients through. If you related to any other industry, you wouldn't take advice financially from a financial advisor that was broke. You would take advice from a financial advisor who has been able to manage their own money very well, probably have had a story wherever they started from, and they're progressing forwards in their own journey. And I think not only is it looked upon like that, where you should be able to have your own story and your own journey and work towards your own goals for your own mental sanity, is that the degree of empathy, understanding, constant progress will reciprocate within your client's ability to also take their own journey. If you've only ever done a diet and you don't know how to do a reverse diet, or you're stuck in a yo-yo dieting pattern as a coach, which is more common than what you would think, then your clients are not going to be able to go into a reverse diet or a muscle building phase or a lifestyle phase because you haven't solved their problems, or you don't know what their problems are because you haven't been through that process yourself. And you can always hypothesize, you can always read from books, you can always see like other people spouting information about the journey of a client and what we need to do after a diet, and then what happens after that, and then, you know, where do we lead them to, what creates weight management solutions over the long term. But the power is never within the books. You know, you can be book smart or you can be street smart. And I think, you know, street smart for coaches is them going through their own journey, having the client, the shared experiences, being able to know what's coming for that client next in order to give them clear outcomes, expectations, and ultimately, you know, help them get to those specific goals. So we focus with the MVP on ultimately allowing the coach to lead from the front, for them being able to go and do their own journey through a coaching process like the one that they would deliver to their clients through autonomy. So partly we want people to progress themselves. You know, we know that the physical, we know that the efforts towards looking at a structured goal, or looking after your nutrition, or looking after your training, or, you know, being in the best possible physical shape and thus mental shape will lead you to being more efficient, being more productive, dealing with stress better, you know, making better decisions, you know, having better routine and during your day to day. And then all of these factors will then lead to, you know, you being able to do more with your day, feel better, and get better, you know, contentment with that as well. So taking coaches through that journey is a really big passion of ours, and showing that they will almost need to start on the journey of solving their own problems as they solve clients, and always be that 2-3 steps ahead, or in lecture terms, you know, be the chapter ahead of these people, which will always allow them to like relay the information back, allow them to be, you know, understanding, empathetic, goal setting, driven, and pushing forwards because you know exactly what's coming. So that's a large part of what we do. And I think those that master this process will be, you know, continually driving forwards to then get more from their clients. And when you stop growing and you stop learning about the potential pitfalls of your own journey, then that's also when your progress with your results stagnate. You know, there was definitely 3 crucial parts of my last 10 years that really formulated my ability to take clients through from no information, no knowledge, didn't even know how to press a dumbbell or hold a dumbbell or go into the gym for that matter, all the way to now being able to, you know, kick people out of my business because they don't need me anymore. And the 3 points were that I didn't know how to diet successfully. I didn't know the tools, the strategies, the things that really held importance. Sure, calories are important. Sure, macros are important. Sure, protein at each meal is really important. Sure, you can sleep a little bit better and that'll make it better. But, you know, I never knew what it was like to really put the best strategy in place for a diet until I did a diet very well, until I got a coach to put me through a diet, someone that was, you know, far vaster and more experienced than I was. And navigating that diet, understanding what really matters, how to manage hunger, how to structure your day, how to take decisions away, how to manage fatigue, and when to push and when to pull, and how to manage setbacks. They're the things that you don't see within the books, that you don't see them within the written word, because that's not science. You know, that isn't theoretical knowledge, that is practical application. And once you put yourself in that scenario, I did it for me at least, you know, conveniently, my clients all got better results because of that. Instead of taking them to week 6 and week 7 without a hitch, I was able to take them to week 12 and week 16 and week 20 and do long dieting phases for my clients. And then the second one was, you know, conveniently, I struggled being able to get my clients through a reverse diet. they'd either always binge, or they'd always yo-yo, or they'd always, feel lost after the reverse diet because they'd always tried to diet. And, on reflection, I hadn't gone through that myself. I'd always yo-yoed back. I'd always, I'd gained 10 kilos after one diet, gained 15 kilos after the other, gained, 10 after the last one. I'd always gained it back afterwards, which made complete sense. I hadn't been able to take myself through it. And therefore, when these pitfalls came for the clients, they didn't have me to rely on because I didn't know what they were going through. I didn't know the understanding. I was still struggling with the same things that they did. And you may be lucky and not have these problems, or you may have not been through this process yourself, but I guarantee there'll be somewhere in these processes, dieting, reverse dieting, a lifestyle or muscle building phase that's a continued one, there will be things that you struggle with that eventually your clients will then struggle with, that you'll need to conquer to be able to give them that complete package service. And then, when I got through that point of reverse dieting, maintaining my weight afterwards, things that people don't see, which is like setting that second goal, creating some emotional attachment to that second goal, because the first goal that you have in fat loss is driven by insecurity, is driven by you wanting to be better, is driven by, the jeans not fitting anymore, or stepping on the scale and be like, fucking fat, or, looking at pictures of yourself and not happy with how many chins that you had. But then that second goal after the reverse diet is not as powerful as the insecurities that you had. It's actually about, what do we want to go and do now? Where do we want to push forwards to, as opposed to running away from something, which is a completely different goal setting method in itself. So you have to, instead of the emotions hitting you with insecurity, you have to go and seek out the emotions that you're trying to provide, seek out the feelings that you want to feel from this journey of nutrition, training and lifestyle and looking after your mental and physical health, and then go after those. And it was only when I really started looking at, once I was reverse dieting and I was looking at, okay, well, where do I want to go now? What is it that I want to achieve? How am I going to do that? Why am I doing that? Why is that important to me? And then how is that going to affect other parts in my life? I was able to come through that reverse dieting phase with practice to be able to come into a lifestyle muscle building phase in the long term. And again, roadblocks and stumbles with my clients, I'd get them through a reverse dieting phase, and then they'd not see the value after 2 to 3 months, or they'd not really get into that phase as much. And then again, I was thinking, well, why is that? Why can't I get people further into the journey? Why can't I impact them more? We know that even though they've done a diet, even though they're in shape, it doesn't guarantee that they're going to stay in shape, because it requires reps and reps and reps, or practice on practice on practice of these new habits, systems, new lifestyles, new tracking methods, new, all of the things that combine to make weight management solutions or muscle building phases or optimization phases I wasn't doing, because I didn't know what it was. So I did the usual thing again. I went back to the drawing board. I got a coach. I found someone that would take me through that specific part, or was very, very good on that. And I was able to then conquer those specific aspects, the consistency over the long term, the really dialing in from a training perspective. So, taking value and contentment from my sessions, as opposed to, oh, when am I going to be bigger yet? And then really looking at the value of like, okay, well, this phase is going to be for 18 months, or this phase is for life. How am I going to control my nutrition? Or why should I control my nutrition if this phase is going to be all impending? There's no short-term gratification. And that's what like a long-term lifestyle phase is about that. There is no short-term gratification from the process once you get to that lifestyle phase, because it's about why you should do it. Why it daily does this contribute better to your life, and why it shouldn't be something where you're looking at excitement to be overcome. And that was a large part for me, is that, the moment that I started realizing it's not about excitement, it's not about short-term gratification, it's not about when am I going to be bigger yet, or when am I going to be leaner yet, or what does this, really food give me? It was about connecting, food, training, lifestyle to the way that I wanted to act daily. And I think that's a whole separate podcast within itself, about the lifestyle that you need to lead in order to thrive and have it flow between all the areas of your life, and let nutrition and training and lifestyle and maybe stress management through like journaling or therapeutic modalities bleed into your life, so that these kind of stabilize you for everything that is about to come, whether it's the highs, the lows, the ups, the downs. And then I used that, I navigated that. And through that, that's how Autonomy was born, because I realized there was levels to it. I was realizing that people would get stuck. And not only from a coach's perspective, but the clients were suffering because of it. The clients were suffering because the coach was not experienced enough in their own journey to take them through where they needed to get to, so that the client would leave the coach, then rebound, and then go through another coach or the same coaching company and go through that process again, just to get to another point where their coach was insufficient to be able to take them through. So we created this MVP to avoid clients having to go through coaches and coaches and coaches who have that inability to take them through the process, because the coach comes to Autonomy MVP and is able, in one failed swooping of a 6 to 12 month block, to be able to take their clients through the whole entire journey that is required of you to get someone to a weight management position and be able to give them self-sufficiency. So that's where this was born. And it always, as it always has done for me, everything I've always done has come out of the insecurity or the failures of myself. Like I always say that I was the shittest client ever, and I was, I'm working with him at the moment, and will continue to work for him for a very, very long time, because it's fantastic. Is that it was born out of me being a shit client, me being a not so great coach, or me not being able to understand why I wasn't getting great results with my clients, problem solving, trialing a few different things, and then just that constant quest of, fuck, I need to get better. So this is what it was born out of. And I hope you hear and see the value in which going through that process yourself is absolutely critical as a coach to navigating your own clients' journeys. You look at the people that are at the top of the industry, and there isn't one of them that hasn't gone through the same specific struggle that their clients who they're now coaching have gone through. I can name a few coaches. Like you look at Callum from the Muscle Mentors, absolutely fantastic, very, 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 very good coach. Gone through the years, got to a point now where he has led from the front. He's walked the walk. He knows exactly how to get massive, and he knows exactly how to get shredded. And long behold, all of his clients are doing this too. And maybe there was a point in their lives, or other coaches that are very similar, that they struggled with a certain part of their coaching because they struggled with a certain part of their own journey. And I would probably hypothesize and say that you could ask 100 of the top best coaches, and they could walk you through their journey as a coach, and they would find that there was a correlation between where they were at versus where their clients are at, and being a correlation, because no one knows how to get shredded and the full crux of it and the true understandings of the inner workings until they've gone through that process themselves. Other parts of the MVP is about having the support network to know what your delivery is like on a week-to-week basis. In the fitness industry, because we're a team, we are a team, but it's a full of self-employed individuals who are making money for themselves, which is absolutely fantastic. You should go and make as much as you can off your chosen profession, especially when you love it as much as most PTs do, because it's a helping, giving industry. But we're all individuals. And so on most of the time, when you are spending a lot of time on your own, not around other people that may challenge your thought process or have deeper conversations about why you do certain things, we fall in this bias of confirmation bias. And for newer coaches coming into the industry, confirmation bias will be a dangerous thing, because they only know a hint of what is needed to get amazing results, give an amazing service, and not fuck people up, to being completely honest. So having a support group that almost gives you the ability to give yourself a pat on the back if you're wanting to, I want to do this with my client. What do you think about this? Or my client is doing X, Y, and Z. What can I do about that? And if I was growing up 10 years ago in the online space, even if I look back at my 10 years as a PT, when I was working in London at the Transformation Gym, I had mentors that I could go to and say, I'm thinking of doing this with this client, dropping this many calories, moving this to steps, doing this, this, and this, and this, giving them this supplement. What do you think about that? And I can remember the feeling that I got from someone saying, yep, that sounds like a great idea. And the validity that goes into you having that ability to go and say, is this right, to someone that has been in the industry longer, has been, a mentor, has been, is the exact person that you're trying to kind of emulate, which is absolutely fantastic in this industry. We should emulate other people. We should learn what they have and take them into our own businesses. Gives you that right to feel better about your day to day. Because all you see, or all you will see as a one-to-one online coach, is how many drop-offs I've got, what financial barrier am I at, am I going to be able to afford my rent this month? And then you'll be thinking about, okay, well, why are my clients not getting results? Whereas we know that, results are going to breed everything else. Whatever happens, whatever business stuff, whatever marketing stuff, whatever operation stuff that you do, the meat and potato will always be coaching and delivery. And there's thousands of case studies where you could just look at what they've done and been a success. And success might not mean 100 million £1,000, or not mean, world renowned or having a gold star after their name or a blue tick. But you look at the people that have got results time and time and time again, and after, they're not struggling for money, or they're not struggling for business, or they're not struggling for financial gain relative to what they could be if they didn't have the results. So it will always come back down to how you can help your clients, whether you're in the game for before and afters, or whether you're in the game to just help people feel better. That's a result within itself. And you providing that service will be the meat and potato of everything that you get. And improving that is somewhat left to the wayside sometimes when we're setting up a business that has to make money, because we just want to make the money and get people in, as opposed to change people's lives. So having a support group where you're focused on changing people's lives and doing the right thing by your client is going to be absolutely invaluable to the delivery of your service. And the delivery, the meat and potato, will always precede results, and then results will always precede everything else. It's a tiering system. It's like calories, macros, and protein and supplements. Is at the bottom, you've got your coaching delivery, and that leads into results. And then you've got all of the other stuff that's on top, because that will lead to more referrals, people shouting from the rooftops about you, just because they got great results with you. So having that support group and people that are like-minded to be able to give you a pat on the back and say, I'm thinking about doing this with a client, or thinking about doing this, is invaluable. And like I said, I've been lucky enough to have that for the last 8 years of my career. Maybe the first 1 or 2 at Nuffield, it wasn't particularly helpful, because I was probably the person in the room that only cared about results or getting people in better shape. Everyone else was just picking up a paycheck and doing fucking yoga, which is fine, but not what I wanted to do. And then, you combine that with other things that the MVP offers, which is upskilling you and educating you on your coaching delivery and results. You going through your own journey, you being able to get a support, and then the trifecta is upskilling your education and delivery. We provide weekly lecture series. We provide, probably once a year, depending on where I am in the world, training days. And we provide you with a private group or website to give you as much information about how to be the best general population client coach there is when it comes to online coaching. And having that education is not the same as reading a book or going on a course. The education is that I firmly believe that education is pulled into, people just say, okay, I'm going to go and do that course, or I'm going to do this. But I firmly believe that education is on a continuum of where you are, and going to do a course at the wrong time and potentially not being ready for specific courses, because they now are on a spectrum, right? You've got people that are doing advanced biomech or advanced physiology, and you go on them and it blows your lid off. But I would also say that people that are coming into the industry now, you're 6 months in, you may have had a corporate job beforehand, or you're just 21 and 22 and you thought, okay, I'm going to just help people, or I got in shape myself and I just want to help other people. These are the people that go on these courses and they feel completely blown away. And whilst that may be great for some people, A lot of people just end up doing the courses and not really understanding, applying, or even taking it any further. So what I propose for most is that there is a continuum of education that you, knowing and seeing success in the last 10 years, you can almost predict the route in which people did. And, the people that are now at the top of the industry, or the people that are now getting enough clout to see that they're top of the industry, they took very similar steps. You don't see many, top online trainers who now are well established before COVID and before online was a bit of a thing. We're not doing hundreds of hours on a gym floor, or not doing lots and lots and lots of contact time. You don't see those people. You see that's a correlating factor. You see that most of those guys did some basic level courses, then did a nutrition one from either Precision Nutrition or even Polokin for some degree. They went to apply it, and then they did something like a training one, like maybe they did Luke Lehman's stuff or the Muscle Nerds, or they did whatever it is, and they did some own training and random stuff. Like you can do some Viper stuff if you really want to go down that route, and you do some absolute wank courses. And then you realize, okay, cool, I'm ready for that next step up, because you've applied that knowledge, you've layered up, and now you're ready to do the advanced stuff. You're ready to go on RTS and give yourself enough knowledge and understanding of what education is, and how to apply that properly, and how to go and do those courses and fully appreciate it. And I'm really in that mode of like, if I did RTS 10 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to understand it enough, because I didn't know enough of a basic level of how that would apply. And I firmly believe that whilst you could do that course and you could go and do it when you're first out of the industry, and it would blow your head off and it would be fine, and it would create the standards for you. You'd realize that you're a small fish in a big pond, and that's great. But I believe that there's probably far better ways that you could do that with a less aggressive learning curve, that would then lead you towards seeing it as a continuum, as opposed to, I'm going to do that course and that's going to be it. Because a lot of PTs just end up doing one course and then resting on their laurels, as opposed to it being a continuum of continued growth and a continued dissection of their own coaching delivery and where they need to work on. And that's the course that they go and do. So we provide you with this continuum of, let's just first identify the basics of what you need to kind of thrive from a coaching delivery perspective, whether it's looking at the optimal way or the better way that you can deliver a service. Is that loom? How are you performing your looms? What's your check-in structure? How are you deciphering information? What type of training programs are you giving people? What type of nutritional setups? Are you going MyFitnessPal? Are you going meal plans? Are you going like a hybrid in the middle? Are you, giving portion control? Are you giving hand portions? What are these ways that we're doing these these methods and implementing that? And as you learn your own coaching method and your coaching delivery, you'll see holes within those ways that you choose, because no way is perfect. And our job as mentors, as educators, as part of the MVP, is to guide you in a way where you start solving your own problems, to then understand what course you need to go on, or what system you need to go and work on, or how do you improve that delivery if the client is not being responsive, and ultimately looking at the biggest things that are going to give you your best return on getting clients results and giving better delivery. Because the mistake that is a mistake that I want to remove from the industry, if we have the opportunity to affect it this big, is that more information, or more over just lots of information, doesn't make you a better trainer. It just makes you more informed. And there's a process and there's a difference between being more informed and deciphering information to get to a specific outcome. You can have all of the course in the world, and I've seen these people time and time again. They're on every course, they're on everything. They're maybe doing 20 hours on the gym floor, or they're doing 30 hours on the gym floor, or they've got 40 clients online, and they're going on every course, they're doing every mentorship, but yet they still can't go and be consistent within their coaching delivery, because they haven't learned yet what is right for this context, or who is this person and how do I get the most out of them, which the courses don't really teach, because they give you a large contextual information that is for informational purposes for you to go and dissect yourself. And I think that, where Autonomy MVP comes in, is that we want to help you dissect the information. We want to help rationalize why that would be appropriate for that person, or why you should do this with that person, and go and test it and go and try. So there's a large gap between more information and the ability to make a choice. And it's the same as decision fatigue when we look at our clients. The more choices we give them, the more exposure to these things that we, options that we give them, the harder it is for these people to make a correct decision. And when you're looking at a check-in process, or you're looking at a client giving you lots of information, the difference between a great coach and one in which doesn't know how to decipher information is a one in which will break down what's important now and the elephant in the room and fix that particular problem, especially with Gen Pop clients. So we don't want to make sure that we're not going down the traditional route of education, which is give as much information as you can, overwhelm them with 45-minute lectures or an hour lectures on specific topics, and not let them have a clear, concise, this is what you need to do, when, or how are you going to go about that, or can you create some context and then maybe you do this. One of the big things that bleeds over from the normal autonomy general pop is give people frameworks, give them something to go with. And we believe that, when we're looking at the MVP and looking at helping coaches, giving them something to work on is fundamental. Having a check-in process where that you're going to say, okay, hey, thank you very much for checking. Really, really appreciate it. It seems like you've had a good week. You mentioned about some rapport stuff and you speak about maybe some things that are going on in yours. Maybe that's how you are. You then entail those, then going into your biggest wins and celebrating those wins and creating this, reflection process of what they've done really well that they may have not recognized themselves. Then you go into some of the things around the biggest challenges that they've faced, show some empathy, show some understanding, create some strategies that will help that better, go into nutrition, go into training. And that's a framework that'll allow you to decipher information, and it'll allow you to structure your feedback in a way where whatever information you do have can be written down in a format that your clients can understand. And that, I think that filtering system is the fundamental of why the MVP is going to be really successful, is arguably still successful now because of the things that we're giving people. Because there's a difference between information and the ability to make a choice and find what's right for that individual. And a lot of the industry now is, I'll just see what works for them or find what works for them. How are you going to know unless you make a decision and then go and try it? But you've got to make that decision first. And what is the process of making that decision? So deciphering information and choice will be a fundamental. And I hope that, as much as this has probably been a waffle about the MVP, I hope you appreciate that, we're trying to make a difference here, and we're trying to push the process of, upskilling results and coaching delivery as the focal point in everything. Like, everyone, and especially myself, got into the industry to help and to create change. And if we want to create change and we want to create the best possible outcomes for our clients, it has to start with the ability to deliver what you're giving them amazingly, with the right amount of information, with the ability to create change and go through the states of change without there being an overwhelming, resounding insecurity around about getting results with your clients. Like, I was riddled for years. Like, I didn't know if I could get results. I didn't know if I could take people past 10 kilos or get people when the veins on their abs, or being able to take someone that has not particularly a great mental state, getting them to lose 5 kilos and appreciate it. I was always riddled with the insecurities of, I don't know if I can do that, or if I change this calories, is this going to happen? Or, what happens if I do this? Or, is this going to be the right, all of these things that now I don't have because of the way I've been able to take the noise and move it into order, or take the chaos and move it into order. And that's what we're trying to breed with the Autonomy MVP, is to breed a bunch of coaches who have gone through the journey themselves, have the right amount of information with the right amount of context to make the right decision, and then to be able to be free of that insecurity of, am I doing right by my clients, or am I able to achieve this with my clients? Which is a large reason why people don't make decisions that get great results, is because they're worried about whether their client is going to do X, or worried about what other people are going to say, or worried about if they're actually able to deliver the service that they've fulfilled because of their marketing. And that will then lead to a better delivery for the results of the clients, and then a better feeling coach and a more fulfilled coach who's going to be quite content and more content with their process, because they've been able to give themselves a order that will achieve success with themselves, and then with their clients too. So thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. And if you like this episode or want to know more about the Autonomy MVP model, or you are a coach ready to take that step to working on all of those things I just spoke about, just drop me a message on Instagram, nathan.autonomy, and we can chat about how that will work for you. Apart from that, guys, have a lovely week and chat soon.